When most people think of the Amish, they think of Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. And yes, Lancaster is home to the largest Amish settlement in the United States. But it has become a brand, with tour buses, gift shops, and mass-produced souvenirs. Scattered across America are towns most people have never heard of. Towns where buggies outnumber cars and entire roads have no electrical lines for miles. These are 15 American towns that feel more Amish than Lancaster itself. Now, let us begin. Number 15. We start in Indiana County, Pennsylvania, roughly 200 miles northwest of Lancaster, in a tiny borough called Smicksburg. The population of the borough itself is under 50 people. The surrounding township adds a few hundred more. There are no chain stores here, no tour buses, no visitor center of any kind. What there is, on every side, is Amish farmland. The main road through Smicksburg is lined with hand-painted signs for Amish businesses, furniture makers, quilt shops, bakeries where the bread was pulled from the oven an hour ago. This is what Lancaster County used to look like before the tourism industry arrived. A place where you share the road with buggies, where you buy jam from the woman who made it, and where nobody has ever needed a gift shop. Smicksburg is a glimpse of something older and quieter, something most of Lancaster lost decades ago. Number 14. In Johnson County, Iowa, sits the town of Kalona. Its population is roughly 2,500. The Amish presence here stretches back nearly 180 years, making this one of the oldest Amish settlements west of the Mississippi River. The community is centered on dairy farming, and the annual fall festival and quilt shows draw visitors from across the Midwest. But Kalona is not a place of explosive growth. It is a place of continuity. The Amish here are not expanding or contracting, they are simply continuing, as they have for generation after generation. The farms pass from father to son. The recipes pass from mother to daughter. In a world that measures success by speed and scale, Kalona measures it by endurance. Number 13. In Douglas County, Illinois, sits the village of Arthur. Population 2,231 at the 2020 census. But the Amish community in the surrounding area numbers over 4,600. Arthur is home to the largest and oldest Amish settlement in Illinois, founded in the 1860s. That makes it over 160 years old. By 1938, Arthur was already recognized as a speech island of the Pennsylvania German language. Drive through Arthur on a weekday morning and you will notice something at certain intersections. Buggies outnumber cars. Out in the countryside, entire stretches of road have no electrical lines at all. And in the village itself, you will find something that captures the whole story in a single image. A row of horses and buggies tethered outside the Dollar General store. 21st century retail with 19th century transport parked at the curb. Number 12. In the Kickapoo River Valley of Vernon County, Wisconsin, sits the town of Cashton. The Amish first settled in this region around the 1970s. Today, Vernon County is home to roughly 17,000 Amish residents. It is one of the fastest growing Amish regions in the entire country. More and more Amish families in this valley are turning to viticulture. 32 vineyards now operate in the region. The Amish here have adapted to new crops, new economies, and a rolling landscape very different from the flatlands of Pennsylvania. In the Kickapoo Valley, they are proving that tradition and adaptation are not opposites. They are neighbors. Number 11. In Lawrence County, Tennessee, sits the tiny community of Ethridge. This is home to the largest and most conservative Old Order Amish community in the entire southern United States. It began in 1944, when a few families arrived from Mississippi and Ohio seeking good farmland. The community now numbers over 2,200 members across roughly 330 families. The Amish here are Swartz and Truber, the most conservative branch of the faith. They avoid electricity, telephones, and indoor plumbing. Many homes have no running water and are not connected to mains electricity. Most families have 10 or more children, and some have as many as 20. More than a dozen one-room schoolhouses serve the community. Children begin school at age 7 and attend through 8th grade. They are 80 miles from Nashville, the country music capital of the world. The cultural distance between those two places cannot be measured in miles. Number 10. In Daviess County, Missouri, sits the town of Jamesport. Population 559 at the 2020 census. Small enough to miss entirely if you blinked while driving through. But Jamesport is home to the largest Old Order Amish settlement west of the Mississippi River, and it is recognized as one of the strictest Amish colonies on Earth. The community was founded in 1953. 7 Amish schools operate in the surrounding area. Business hours in Jamesport do not follow the rules of commerce. They follow the rhythms of family, faith, and the changing seasons. Opening times shift without notice. You cannot look them up online. You drive there, and you find out. That alone tells you everything you need to know about the pace of life here. Number 9. In Elkhart County, Indiana, sits the town of Nappanee. The population is around 7,000. Nappanee is home to Amish Acres, one of the earliest living history Amish attractions in the country. The furniture and manufacturing tradition here runs deep. Generations of Amish craftsmen have built a reputation for quality that extends well beyond the county line. But the real story is what is happening on the map. The Amish settlement centered on Nappanee and the larger settlement in Elkhart and LaGrange counties to the north have both been expanding for decades. They are now geographically merging. The farmland between them has simply filled in with Amish families. What were once 2 distinct communities are becoming a single unbroken corridor of Amish life, stretching dozens of miles across northern Indiana. Number 8. In Wayne County, Ohio, sits the village of Kidron. It rests on the western edge of the enormous Holmes County Amish settlement. And here you will find Lehman's Hardware. Founded in 1955, this store has spent 70 years serving a community that does not use mains electricity. The shelves are stocked with oil lamps, hand-crank tools, wood-burning stoves, and gas-powered refrigerators. No extension cables, no power tools, no light bulbs. Lehman's was not built as a museum or a curiosity shop. It was built because the surrounding Amish community genuinely needed these things. When your customers arrive by horse and buggy, you do not stock plug sockets. Originally a modest local store, it now draws visitors from around the world. But its core function remains unchanged. Serving people who live without electricity. Number 7. In the city of Sarasota on the Gulf Coast of Florida, there is a neighborhood called Pinecraft. The Amish have maintained a presence here since 1927. This is where Amish and Mennonite families from across America come for their winter holidays and retirement. During the cold months, the population swells with Amish snowbirds arriving from Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Indiana. There are no buggies in Pinecraft. Instead, the Amish ride adult-sized tricycles and bicycles through the quiet streets. Shuffleboard courts line the park. Yoder's Restaurant is a neighborhood landmark. Bakeries sell pies that draw visitors from across the county. Just as thousands of British retirees flock to the Costa del Sol each winter, the Amish flock to Pinecraft. Instead of sunburnt pensioners on the promenade, it is bearded men in straw hats pedaling 3-wheeled bicycles to a pie shop. Pinecraft is the only place in America where you will see an Amish man in sandals. Number 6. In LaGrange County, Indiana, sits the town of Shipshewana. It was named after a Potawatomi chief. At the 2020 census, the population was 839. LaGrange County as a whole is home to over 28,000 Amish residents. The first Amish settlers arrived in 1844. Today, LaGrange and Elkhart counties together form the 3rd largest Amish settlement in America. Shipshewana is a dry town. Alcohol is not available in restaurants or shops. Business owners honor Amish customs by closing their doors on Sundays. The Shipshewana Flea Market, with over 700 vendors across open-air stalls and covered pavilions, is the largest outdoor market in the entire Midwest. The town has 839 residents. There is no alcohol. Shops are closed on Sundays. The surrounding county has 28,000 Amish families. The town does not host an Amish community. The town exists because of one. Number 5. In Tuscarawas County, Ohio, sits the town of Sugarcreek, population around 2,200. Known as the Little Switzerland of Ohio for its Swiss-German architectural heritage. A giant cuckoo clock stands in the town center. Cheese production, particularly Swiss cheese, drives much of the local economy. But Sugarcreek holds a distinction that reaches far beyond tourism or dairy. This town is home to The Budget, a weekly newspaper that serves hundreds of Amish and Mennonite communities across the United States, Canada, and several other countries. Correspondents and settlements scattered across the continent write in each week with reports on births, deaths, weather, crop conditions, and visiting patterns. In a world without the internet, without email, without social media, this single newspaper, published in a small Ohio town, connects an entire civilization. It has done so for over a century, and in all that time, nothing has replaced it. Number 4. We return to Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. But what happened here has nothing to do with tourism. On October 2nd, 2006, a gunman entered the West Nickel Mine School, a one-room Amish schoolhouse in the quiet farmland of Bart Township. He took hostages and opened fire on 10 girls, ages 6 to 13. 5 of them were killed. He then took his own life. 13-year-old Marion Fisher reportedly asked the gunman to shoot her first in the hope that the younger children might be spared. On the day of the shooting, a grandfather of one of the murdered girls was heard warning young relatives not to think evil of the man who did this. That same day, an Amish neighbor went to comfort the killer's family. In the days that followed, members of the community visited the gunman's widow and his parents. One Amish man held the killer's sobbing father in his arms for close to an hour, and when the gunman was buried, several Amish families who had laid their own daughters to rest just the day before attended his funeral and embraced his widow. The school was demolished the following week. The ground was left as a quiet pasture. No memorial stone, no shrine, just grass, growing where the building had stood. Over $4 million was donated for medical care for the surviving children. A community that responded to the murder of its children not with anger, not with media campaigns, not with calls for new laws, but with immediate and unconditional forgiveness extended to the killer's own family. Number 3. Just up the road sits the village of Intercourse. Population roughly 1,300. The main road is a tourist corridor. Several dozen quilt and craft shops line the street. Almost none of them are Amish owned. Buses unload visitors who browse, buy a scented candle, and leave. But step off that main road, walk 1 block in any direction, and you are standing in the middle of working Amish farmland. Cornrows stretch to the tree line. Laundry dries on a line strung between 2 wooden posts. A buggy turns slowly up a dirt lane toward a white clapboard farmhouse. The tourists see the shops. The Amish see the fields. They occupy the same village and live in entirely different worlds. Behind the postcards and the souvenir magnets, the real Amish life of Lancaster County is right there, 1 block away. Most visitors never bother to look. Number 2. In the Green Hills of East Central Ohio sits Holmes County. At its heart is the village of Berlin. Holmes County had a total population of 44,223 at the 2020 census. Roughly 48% of them were Amish. That is the highest concentration of Amish people anywhere in the world. The settlement is also the most complex. 11 separate Amish affiliations coexist within Holmes County, from the most progressive to the most conservative. The first settlers arrived in 1807. A man named Jonas Stutzman built a log cabin near Walnut Creek in 1809. And from that single cabin, everything grew. Demographic projections now suggest that by 2027, Holmes County could become the first county in the United States where more than half the residents are Amish. The implications for schools, for roads, for zoning, for every arm of local government are enormous, and the growth shows no sign of slowing. By 2017, Holmes County had already become the second most popular tourist destination in the entire state of Ohio. But the Amish who live here did not ask for the visitors. They simply kept having children and kept working the land. Number 1. Charm, Ohio, an unincorporated community deep in the hills of Holmes County. The population of the village itself is roughly 150 people, surrounded on all sides by Amish farmland that rolls over gentle hills to the horizon. More buggies than cars on any given morning. No traffic lights, no chain businesses, no mobile phone signal on many of the surrounding roads. The flour mill in Charm is Amish-owned and Amish-operated, and it still grinds grain the way it has for generations. The sound of the millstone turning carries across the road on a quiet morning. An increasing flow of visitors has found its way here in recent years, but the Amish did not build Charm for visitors. They built it for themselves. And here is the number that puts everything on this list into perspective. The Amish population in North America stood at roughly 178,000 at the turn of the millennium. As of 2025, it exceeds 410,000. It more than doubled in 25 years. The population doubles approximately every 20 years. They are the fastest growing religious community in America. This growth is not driven by conversion. Almost no one converts to the Amish faith. It is driven entirely by children. 6, 7, 8, 9 children per family. Birth control is widely discouraged. In some communities, families of 10 or more are common. In a world consumed by talk of declining birth rates and demographic collapse, the Amish are simply doing what they have always done, having families, working the land, and continuing. On a Tuesday morning in Charm, Ohio, the only sounds are hooves on gravel and the creak of a wooden wheel. There are no engines, no screens, no notifications. A child in a straw hat walks barefoot along a fence line. The flour mill turns, and somewhere in a white farmhouse with no electrical wiring and no broadband connection, a family of 11 sits down to breakfast. The population is still growing. These 15 towns are proof that the Amish story in America is not a relic preserved behind glass. It is a living, expanding force, quietly spreading across the hills and farmland of a nation that barely notices it is there. While the modern world debates what it has lost, the Amish already have their answer. They never gave it up.